Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
When it's time to build a home, remodel, or add on, Hamby Builders is this area's experienced construction company. From site selections to floors, doors, windows, trim, tile, bathrooms, and kitchen, the Hamby Builders team can make your home the home of your dreams. Hamby Builders is licensed and insured with over 20 years of experience in homes in Giles, Lawrence, Wayne, and Murray counties. Trust your home construction or light commercial project to the team with experience and integrity. Hamby Builders. Call 931-629-5264 or 931-629-9472 today.
Bring your outdoor dreams to life at Loretto Nursery and Landscaping. This one-stop shop can help you get your project done from start to finish. Go see for yourself. They have a wide variety of plants, from tropicals to ferns and trees, plus hanging baskets. What they have to offer goes beyond what looks good. They also supply concrete, mulch, compost, and drainage culverts. Don't forget about their on-lot buildings and chicken coops. You think that's all? You can also stop by to fill up your propane tank. Loretto Nursery and Landscaping has you covered. Stop by 409 South Military Street.
Nobody makes hauling more affordable than C&D Hauling. Serving southern Middle Tennessee and northern Alabama, they supply premium materials like asphalt, sand, gravel, and much more for whoever needs it, like contractors, builders, or homeowners. Call today for a free quote.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome to X Sports Today. AJ Good, joined by Taylor Plott, Michael Marks. Bryant Gobble's on the phone. He'll be in here in a second. But, guys, we've started high school basketball. We got one on this screen. I was at a college basketball game last night. A lot of fun there at Roan State. Great people, great food.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
I went nostalgic yesterday for dinner. I had Shoney's. They have a Shoney's.
Oh, yes.
at Roan
Good old
State.
Shoney's.
And the Shoney's that I ate at looks identical to the one I used to eat at all the time near my hometown. My hometown's Winfield, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My mom grew up in St. Albans, West Virginia. It's like a 10-minute drive. And that Shoney's used to be the only Shoney's like remotely in that area for a while. And this one looked identical.
I'll bring
to
some
that one.
memories.
Now they've tore it down and it's a Penn Station subs, but that's
That's completely different now.
I'm a Penn Station fan, but that one kind of broke my heart when they tore
It's
down
no
their
Shoney's. Yeah,
I
no
will
Shoney's.
say, Shoney's, not to give everyone a history lesson, Shoney's started in Charleston, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My dad used to go drag racing in front of the original Shoney's
Oh my gosh.
in Charleston because it was a drive-in. And
Uh-huh.
so you would take your cars. My dad had a 67 GTO. I'm not a car person, but I've heard these stories more than I've heard Pete Rose stories, more than I've heard all the Chicago Cubs stories,
Mm-hmm.
more than all the documentaries I've heard. And don't get my dad started on the time he took a 16-wheeler and backed it up a mountain to get coal.
Gosh.
My sister and I can repeat that story word for word, syllable for syllable.
that's
But
pretty good.
that's how many times my dad has told it. But
Gosh.
he used to do that in front of the original Shoney's. There is a Shoney's museum in Charleston, and when I say it's all it is, it's an outdoor thing. And if you complete this semicircle, that's how big it is.
Wow.
So it's got some art. It's like a fun 10-minute walkthrough, read some of this stuff. But there's a lot of things in Charleston named Schoenbaum, like Schoenbaum Field, Schoenbaum Center, after Alex Schoenbaum who's from Charleston. So every time I drive by Shoney's, I'm like that. There's just a little piece of West Virginia
Yep.
everywhere I go, and It is weird they don't serve pepperoni rolls, but that's another. Those who don't know what pepperoni rolls are, go to West Virginia. You'll be happy. Anyways, guys, let's get into some college football as I have completely distracted us talking about food and talking about Shoney's.
I'll never complain about food.
Yeah. But let's take a look at the games we got going on here. Nothing. Was there anything tonight or?
There was.
Oh, we got a Sun Belt
Butch Jones.
game. Yeah,
He's a chance to go bowl eligible.
yeah. Well, they had a chance to get into the conference championship game, but Southern Miss kind of ended that. Maction has been not a lot of good matchups, Maction-wise. We did have a good one, Akron and Bowling Green.
I'll tell you, look at the rushing numbers from Ohio and then the rushing numbers from Western Michigan. It was absurd, especially Ohio's.
Well, now you got me curious what we got.
Very Maction kind of numbers on the ground.
So 391 total. Oh my gosh, 28 yards passing, 363 on the ground.
Jeez.
That's what Ohio.
They threw the ball 8
UMass
times.
is 0-11, so let's kind of put something into perspective there. And you said
Western Michigan it was pretty much the exact same. They had a couple more passing yards, but
they had 78 passing yards, 100. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. 32 passing yards, 361 yards rushing against Northern Illinois. Man, what's happened to Northern Illinois?
I looked last year. They had that big upset win over Notre Dame.
Yeah,
went 8-5 and finished 500 in conference play. I don't know what it is, but when they get to conference play, ever since the Jordan Lynch days in the mid 2010s, it's just been tough sailing there in Northern Illinois.
I will say this: I miss big time college football on Thursday.
Yes,
remember there used to be
one game.
SEC played some big games.
Yeah.
Everybody, the only team's league that never did it was the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But there used to be big SEC games. I remember early 2010s, it was a top 10 matchup when Oklahoma went to Baylor on Thursday night. You had a big game on ESPN, a big game on Fox or FS1. I miss.
You had the SEC Network game on Thursday.
Yes.
And sometimes that might not be the best match. It might not be like an Alabama and a Georgia, but you would get a South Carolina and Kentucky when both of them were pretty decent,
Well,
and you would have
I
a
think
good
it was
game.
Mississippi State played a lot on Thursday.
I remember it was 2012 or 2013 one. Vanderbilt and the Ole Miss had an absolute classic. It was when Vandy still had James Franklin and Jordan Rogers,
Came
Jordan
down
Matthews.
to a last second
touchdown for Ole Miss.
Was it Laquan Treadwell that caught it in the corner of the end zone?
It may have been. Man, those Ole Miss teams.
Yeah. We're going old school. Friday, we got Florida State and NC State, both 5-5. Either side trying to get the bowl eligible on Friday. Hawaii UNLV, sneaky one there in the Mountain West. Both of them still alive for a berth in their conference championship game. Saturday, before we get into the big slate, it's important to note locally here. UNA is playing their final game at Brawley Stadium. They got Southern Utah. Kickoff will be at 1 o'clock. Stanley, if I haven't already told you, your press pass is right now. But just kind of nostalgic-wise, we know what UNA means to the area with the great football history they've had. I know they've kind of fallen on some hard times here recently, but into an era. They played the D2 National Championship there for several years. They had a really good stretch in the 90s, won 3 straight titles, and went to a couple more championship games in the 2000s. So great things are happening at UNA, no doubt about that, but kind of a into an era bittersweet game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I've probably only been to a handful of UNA games in my lifetime, but Brawley was something that everybody around here knew about. I mean, it's iconic stadium, obviously, all the success that they had in the 90s, the 3 straight Division II national champions, and like you said, AJ, it really is the end of an era, and they're going to open up the new stadium next year, and it's also the start of a new chapter. Maybe they can bring some success to that stadium like they did to Brawley in the 90s.
Yeah.
I have a, I guess, unique perspective on this because I grew up an Alabama fan,
Right.
but my grandparents, specifically my granddad, had ties with UNA. My grandmother grew up in Rogersville, and I think that she did go to UNA for a short period of time, but my granddad ended up, I think, got his what do you call it, MBA over there.
MBA,
and so he had some more ties over there. So whenever when we were growing up, we would take trips out there, not only to see my great-grandmother, who still lived in Rogersville at the time, but go over to Florence. And I went to a couple of games at that stadium. I can't tell you who they were playing against, but I do remember watching UNA a handful of times over there, and my granddad showing us around, my grandmother showing us around. But the most interesting thing that got to come of that was the lions. The person who took care of the lions knew my grandmother and granddad very well.
Yeah.
And so we kind of were able to get kind of the backs, or the not the backstory, the kind of like the go behind the scenes, if you will, to see where they would feed them, how they fed them, how they took care of them, everything like that. The funny thing is, when I'm blanking on who it was one of the Leos, he passed away. And then they brought in Leo and then Una. And they came in where they were cubs. And they are just like house cats when they're cubs. And they got to play around with them just like house cats and everything. There's videos of all of that. So UNA does hold a special place in my heart from my childhood, being able to experience stuff over there, being able to go to some of their ball games. It's a great stadium. It's obviously not super huge, but it's a good historic stadium. It has a lot of great games, a lot of good history there, and like you said, hosted the D2 championship a few times. So it's sad to see that they're no longer playing there, but stuff happens. You gotta turn the page, go to a new chapter, and that new chapter looks good with the new stadium. And it's not like the stadium's going away.
No.
Yeah, they'll still use it.
It's not like they're not playing football anymore.
Yeah.
Brian, we were just talking about UNA's final game, obviously. You went there, and you do some stuff there on game day, so you've got a unique perspective here for their final game.
It is very needed, the change of venue. Brawley is outdated, and Florence High School is actually putting a lot of investments into that. And I don't know if y'all have looked at, I don't know what directional end zone that is, but if you're looking at the field, it's to the right.
Yes. Yeah, it's the opposite of where the locker rooms are.
Right,
So
yeah,
it's,
opposite, yeah.
To the right.
Yeah, so they are building like this incredible facility for the high school to use.
Yeah.
Like Florence is trying to keep up with the Joneses, I guess.
Right.
That's pretty much what it is. But yeah, UNA needs to change the pace. It's going to be great to get it on campus. Like that's going to be an awesome, incredible atmosphere to get it on campus. Have students come in. Like the dorms are just across the street from where the new building is. So that's going to be amazing. Going to be amazing for the band. They have like a tunnel built in to where the locker room is going to be connected to the tunnel, and the UNA football team is going to be able to run out of the tunnel. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked. The Brawley needs a lot of updates. I'm glad Florence is investing into that, but time for UNA to leave.
Yeah, they need their own place. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is the parking situation. It's not great for basketball. It's going to be even worse.
It's going to be
when
even
you
worse.
add 10,000 people to this. It's not great when you put 4,000 in the gym. It's I'm sure they got something figured out, but I also said the same thing about the University of Tennessee, and that ain't going great right now. But anyways, we'll
hey, party district, yay! No more parking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What I told my in-laws, like we last couple games we've gone to, we parked where you used to park for class, and then you're like, you parked there.
You parked there?
Like,
oh
well,
my goodness! Yeah,
it's the only place we can find.
Yeah.
And it was don't want to say cheap, but it's the cheaper option. But when you got to carry a 3-year-old the whole way, how my arms don't look like Hulk Hogan's right now, I don't know.
Yeah, AJ's never missed leg day.
No, or arm day, shoulders, neck,
Everything.
I do need a chiropractor. But anyways, let's get into the Saturday slate, guys. To the big one everyone's talking about. Marshall at App State. I'm just kidding. Heard is trying to go to bowl eligible, have 130. App State sucks, and I hope we beat them. Old SoCon rivalry. Anyways, Tennessee of Florida. That will be the night game. Let's get right into that one, guys. Florida's down. Obviously not going to go to a bowl. They need a new coach. Who knows who they're going to get at this point, because I don't know. I'm convinced Lane Kiffin's either going to LSU or he's staying at Ole Miss. But Tennessee-wise, they just need to win this game. Josh Heupel needs to win this game. And they've got a 20 beside their name. And the way how crazy college football is getting right now, even though I don't think they're going to get into the playoff, but if chaos ensues and they win the next 2 games, you win at Florida, which Texas couldn't do. A lot of good teams haven't been able to do, and then you beat Vandy at home, who's fighting for a playoff spot. Weird things can happen. All you got to do is get into the top 12.
Yeah. Realistically.
Yeah, it's out there.
I was a little worried about this game walking out of Neyland, leaving the Oklahoma game, because in my mind I immediately went, oh my God, we're about to go 7-5 because we're going to lose to Florida and Vanderbilt. I just had that in my mind. I feel a little better now. Florida, obviously 3-7, have not looked good, have gotten blown out by Kentucky last weekend, which was a little strange. They still have Lagway playing. They still have Jaden Boff playing. But really, the rest of their offense has been banged up all year. Most of their receivers will be missing in this game. But it's Tennessee and Florida in the swamp. 2008, Tim Tebow is probably going to walk out of the tunnel and throw for 300 yards and run for another 110.
DJ Lagway is going to throw for 500.
Exactly.
Will Greer.
I can
before
feel it
his before his West Virginia greatness.
I don't want to talk about that. Gosh, that's terrible.
That was terrible defense.
As like flashbacks thinking about that Hail Mary.
And then another Hail Mary on, was it Felipe Franks?
The next time we went there,
Yeah. I'm nervous. I'm still got, battered Vol syndrome, I guess, is the term that gets thrown around. There are ghosts that live in that stadium, and it's going to be hard to walk out of there with a win no matter what we're ranked, what they're ranked. Like the old cliche, throw the records out the window kind of applies here.
Yeah.
Like every time I see the Florida Gators see that Tennessee orange, like they're seeing a bull seeing red, they're going to be ready to play. They know it's a rivalry game. We saw last week they're not dead. They haven't given up. They pushed Ole Miss to the limit. Something that does encourage me, I don't say this as in I'm celebrating injuries, but they're going to be shorthanded. If you look at the SEC availability report, you can see that, Taylor, right? There's a lot of guys that are out. There's a lot of guys that are out.
Is that the 49ers?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's just a lot. Long list of guys that are out, 3 or 4 guys that are questionable, a couple of guys that are probable.
How awful are these graphics, by the way? I hate to point that out.
Yeah.
They've been rocking this. Listen, I think actually out of the 3 conferences that do the availability reports, the SEC's might be the most visually pleasing, surprisingly.
Yes. It is helpful to look at. I'm glad they started doing this last year. Tennessee has potential question mark around Wendell Moore Jr., offensive lineman who started for us all year. The good news is maybe you have some depth where you can plug in to where it's not that big of a loss, but you don't want to see him go down. And then probably the biggest name that's out is Miles Kitselman, our tight end. He hasn't been putting up great numbers on the receiving end, but he's a senior. He knows where to be. He knows his blocking assignments. He knows how the offense runs. So going to miss him. He took a hard hit to the knee on a touchdown play this past week. So I'm worried about DJ Lagway, to be honest with you. I'm worried he's going to be able to throw all over us because shorthanded secondary already loses Boo Carter. I'm glad he's gone, but we are weak on the back end on the defensive side. So I'm really worried Lagway is going to come out and throw for 350 and 2 or 3 touchdowns and really push us.
Well, and I feel like how many times as a Tennessee fan does it feel like we're playing Kentucky a couple years ago when we went up there and played and they got the O'Leary kid from NC State, and he had not had a good year at all, and then throws for 300 yards against us. It just feels like there's always 1 or 2 of those games every year.
Yeah, I'm scared.
This is. I feel like Tennessee, Florida is y'all's version of Alabama, Auburn with the way that you throw the records out the door. There's voodoo in both stadiums or something. There's a lot of stuff can go on, and it literally is one of the things where you could have Florida in their position they are now. DJ Lagway, he's had a couple of good games, but he's just hasn't been what you would think he could be. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Tennessee shows up, and then he's thrown for 600 yards. Or it does. I can see it. I get that, how that can have that feel and that vibe going into it. In all intents and purposes, though, I mean, Tennessee should go down there, and it's at Florida, right? Yeah, they should go down there and just absolutely dismantle the Florida Gators.
They're only 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah. I was going to ask what it was.
Well, I'm surprised it's even that because I feel like history does play a bit of an impact into that. And look, Florida has not looked good this season, but when they do look good, it's been at home.
Yeah.
They have that win over Texas.
Josh Heupel crap the bed? On the road at night, right?
In hostile environments.
Environments. They're going to be juiced and ready to go.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not just so much for the playoff hopes, because realistically, they win this game. I mean, on a neutral field or at home, they win this game, they jump up 3 or 4 spots, and now they're kind of knocking on the door. But I think they jump up more if they win this on the road.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And what if it was a convincing victory? I mean, Kentucky beat them by 31 points last week.
Kentucky.
At Kentucky.
Even Kentucky freeze. Well, that's Kentucky, but anyways, they freeze up at the. But they've won at the Swamp before.
They've had more success. They've had more success than Tennessee has.
Tennessee, their best chance at possibly getting to a playoff. I'll go ahead and say this. Based on how it feels like this year's going, I think this is a year where you're going to get a 3-loss team in.
And all 3 of their losses are to playoff teams.
They're to playoff teams.
That's true.
Tennessee's,
they were in it.
Yeah. Tennessee's best chance is you go down to Gainesville, you make a convincing win, you jump from 20 to, like, say, 16, 17, something like that. You need Vandy to. Are they off this week?
No,
or
they got Kentucky at home.
So you need Vandy to beat Kentucky. They'll probably just end up staying at 14 where they are. You need to be able to get Vandy at that 14 or maybe 13, depending on how other things work over the weekend. Because if you beat them, there's a chance that you will get into that number 12 position potentially, and then you're just sitting there waiting to see what else happens. But at least you've done what you needed to do, and you put yourself into that position where you might still be on the outside looking in, but you're right there on the bubble.
And you know what? You just gave me a good idea. On my show tomorrow, I will give you a scenario how Tennessee could make the playoffs, how Vanderbilt could make the playoffs, and then for Alabama, since those kind of the teams that most of us around here cheer for, I'll have those tomorrow.
Check it out tomorrow. And also, you can check it out on Spotify and we're at Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Come on.
So, I'm just throwing. I need to hit that button like boom. Here's the advertisement. We're working on it. We're getting there.
Sure.
Some games now on the 11 a.m. noon Eastern slate. Ohio State against Rutgers. Rutgers quietly is now a win away from a bowl game, which they were kind of left for dead in the early part. 32.5-point dogs there to Ohio State, but Rutgers does have a 1,000-yard rusher quietly. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. This Raymond guy, 11 scores, but we all know it's about to happen. Speaking of,
and listen, they do have a good quarterback as well. Callie Akamanis, they call him the Polish Rifle.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's good for much. I mean, he's thrown for 2,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Maybe
he could have a lot of chili cheese conies the other way to Ohio State Buckeye defenders. Why am I'm talking a lot about food today. You can tell I grew up near that area, didn't I? I love Skyline chili. Anyway, Samford at A&M, a really down Samford team. They've normally been one of the more consistent teams in the SoCon. No line on this, no needed. A&M could throw their 4th-teamers out there and win this game by 50 points, realistically.
That's actually what FanDuel has up, 54.5.
Wow.
Yeah, you can bet on this, 54.5. There's no money line bet, but you can bet the cover, 54 in the hook.
Wow. I'll take Samford plus 54.5.
Put your money where your mouth
You're going to be
lay it down for you right now.
You're going to investigate this game if you put money on that. Even if you put a penny on that, investigate this game. No, big one, though, Missouri at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, guys, is quietly, after wins at Tennessee, at Alabama, have played themselves into a playoff spot right now. If they can beat a Missouri team with the number beside their name, with LSU left, guys, I think they're in the driver's seat for a playoff spot, and they don't even have to play in the championship game.
Yeah, I think we got to see on Tuesday night how important that win over Alabama was viewed in the eyes of the committee, because now Oklahoma has jumped Notre Dame as the highest-ranked 2-loss team. I think another ranked win at home, though, against a kind of a down Missouri team. It's still, like you said, a team with a number beside their name. That would help their case even more. Maybe jumping Oregon, who doesn't have as many as impressive wins. It's definitely getting interesting with Oklahoma, because I don't think a lot of people saw them winning at Alabama, and how much that single game has changed things.
Who do they have for rivalry?
LSU at home.
Well, they play their rivalry at the traditional spot, so that's the thing about, you want rivalry week to be rivalries, but, you have the 3rd week in October.
Yeah.
You
spread them out through the year.
Well, they changed Tennessee, Florida.
Yeah, it used to be the 3rd Saturday in September.
Yeah, so, they got to keep some sort of semblance of normalcy around.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, that's no easy schedule for Oklahoma.
No.
Like, if they win out, they deserve to be in at that point.
Right.
Beating a good Missouri team who's pushed good teams this year, and beating LSU, who's they have their issues, but they still have a lot of talent on the field. They'll be 2 good wins for Oklahoma if they can finish out the season.
Yeah, Oklahoma has definitely put themselves in the driver's seat for sure. And I don't know. I know there are a lot of people that were like, okay, well, Oklahoma's going to get lost at Alabama. I was very on the fence with how that game was possibly going to go, because their defense is so good, and Venables is very good at creating schemes specifically for teams, and Bama had just they keep scraping by week in after week, and they win, and that's all that matters. But there were a lot of holes that were evident in that offensive line and the running game. Now, you take away the missed field goal by Talty, and we're talking about an Alabama win versus an Oklahoma loss. So there is an aspect where it wasn't like they went in and just completely dismantled Alabama, but they did what they needed to do. They took advantage of the turnovers, and they got a win. And now they're in the driver's seat, and now it is a really, really good Oklahoma team that I really would like to see in the playoffs. I feel like they have a solid team. They can make some noise for the SEC, and I think it's good for Oklahoma because you go back last year. Last year was supposed to be what this year was, and that was a down year, and now you're finally able to see what Brent Venables can do.
They're kind of an old-school throwback. They remind me a lot of like kind of the early 2000s Miami's and the Ohio State team that won the BCS against Miami. It's defense. The old saying is defense wins championships. It's kind of been flipped. The more offense, the better. But this team is old school. I mean, if it wasn't for that defense, they would be 5-5 at best, maybe 4-6. Who knows what?
I would say their defense has kept them in a ton of games this year. I mean, they're winning games against Michigan 24-13. That game over Alabama 23-21. It wasn't a very high scoring game. And look, when their defense has given up more than 30 points, they've struggled this year. That loss to Ole Miss, Texas almost put 30 points up on them. That's their goal, keeping teams under 30. And with their run defense, and the only way Missouri moved the ball last week was running the ball. I don't see Missouri having much success in this one.
No, I don't either. Another one, the 11 a.m. slate, guys. Miami's still alive in the ACC championship, still somewhat alive in the playoff. They're sitting there at 13th. They're at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just got a new head coach. Something about Miami having to go on the road for these 11 a.m., 12 Eastern kickoffs. With all of this is going through Virginia too. It's going to be a little bit chilly, a little bit cool, a nip in the air. All the leaves are off the trees.
Well, that momentum's going to be there. They got their new head coach.
They got their coach. There's a lot of energy. Hurricanes 17.5-point favorites. It's in November on the road, which Mario Cristobal is not good.
I would say it's crazy when they show that graphic of his record in September, October, and then November. It's polar opposites.
I mean, I kind of like Virginia Tech here. At least I like them to cover. It's 17.5, so it's not impossible. But this isn't a good spot for Miami. It's pretty much what I'm saying.
I think it really just boils down to which Carson Beck shows up. I feel like you look at their games this year. Obviously, defense looks like they have some struggles as well. But if you get a good Carson Beck, they usually win the game. If you get the bad Carson Beck, they usually don't win the game. So, I mean, this is one where he's going to have to show up if Miami has any chance at trying to get into the playoff.
Right, absolutely. Sneaky one also in the ACC. SMU still an outside shot. They host Louisville. Louisville, who was doing great until back-to-back home losses. Mustangs 2.5-point favorites there. I don't get to say that on the college side too often.
Well, it's funny because these are the two teams that beat Miami. We're going to see kind of which one is better out of SMU and Louisville, but as of late, the Mustangs have looked much better.
Georgia at 11:45 our time's got 1-9. Charlotte, they're 44.5-point favorites in that game. A sneaky one for all the who's going to make it from the group of 5. 9-1 James Madison hosts Washington State. Washington State on the road took Virginia to the brink, took Ole Miss to the brink. If they can look good in this game, because they're 13.5-point favorites, they can look good, kind of dominate and prove, hey, we played them better than two teams you guys have slated into the playoffs. That certainly increases their profile, so that's certainly one to look out for. I don't have any line on Bama and Eastern Illinois. What is it with all the SEC teams getting every FCS team that's like 3-8, 1-10? Right now.
It's that kind of year.
Given Charlotte is an FBS team, a lot of people are lumping them in there with the FCS teams. They are an FBS team, but
they play in an FCS stadium.
It does seem like
I've been there.
Like when they have those late November FCS games, it's like always a 1-8 team or a 2-7 team. And maybe that's something they think out ahead of, but.
However, Auburn has 9-1 Mercer, who's the top team in the SoCon now.
Watch out for that one.
They've won the SoCon because they're 9-1, so they've clinched an FCS playoff spot. Oh man, Actually, Mercer, who's I covered them working in Macon. They've played Auburn and Bama a lot.
They have.
And they still kind of got that funky wing tee out of the shotgun offense.
Here's something that I'm very hesitant about, and this is going along the lines of all the voodoo down there at Jordan Hare and everything like that. In my mind, because I saw that they're playing Mercer, and I saw that 9-1, they're obviously really good.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, okay, well, what would make me feel better about the Bama game down there next Saturday? If Mercer beats Auburn this week and just completely destroys their mentality, or Auburn beats Mercer and now they're focusing on Alabama. I don't know.
I just want to, for my sake, because I love Mercer, I hope Mercer goes in there.
I think it'd be hilarious. It'll be good.
When a really good FCS team has to go into an FCS opponent like that Tennessee Tech Kentucky game was good for the most part last Saturday, and I think this one has a chance to be just as good. Both slow-paced offenses. It's going to be a low-scoring,
especially since, for those who don't know, there's been a lot of trash talk in the FCS circles about the SoCon because they don't have any good out-of-conference wins, and they don't think the league is strong. But hey,
what an SEC win!
What about this?
And the champion goes in and beats an SEC team, who realistically is a couple bad calls and a bad coach away from maybe being in playoff discussion.
It could be. Yep.
Which, by the way, I'm going to bring this up because I watched a video today out of nowhere. So, Auburn's had a lot of bad juju with the officials this year. I literally watched a 9-minute video today on how the officials have helped Auburn a lot over the last few years. Like, for real. Like, there was a couple Arkansas games.
Well, I'm thinking of that Bo Nix double spike or whatever.
And the previous time, or I think it was a couple years later when Auburn came to them, there was some shenanigans. There was a Kentucky game where they went for it on 3rd and goal from the half-yard line and 4th and goal, and both times the quarterback easily got in. They still didn't call a touchdown. Yeah. There's some Auburn's just there's karma coming back to them from, again.
They just got it all at the same time.
Yeah, and it really drew me in really bad. Or maybe I was just trying to ignore whatever my daughter was trying to pull out of the kitchen cabinets. Thankfully, it wasn't. That's why we keep the knives really high to where I can barely get them. Anyways, sneaky one at 1 o'clock for those of us who are a group of 5 sickos. Missouri State and Kennesaw State for a chance to play in the Conference USA Championship game. That's in 1 at Kennesaw State, a.k.a. the lacrosse stadium. This is where they play. Kind of funny there. I'm trying to find some of the...
Missouri State's first year in the FBS has gone really, really well for them.
Yeah, it looks like someone's trying to break in our door right now. Or is he just hanging out?
I think he's just hanging out.
Okay.
You give me 3 guesses, 5 guesses, 10 guesses on where Kennesaw State is, and I don't think I could tell you.
Northwest Atlanta.
Oh, I was going to have him guess.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if it was
Georgia?
Northeast or Northwest.
Yeah, you pass by, if you're coming from here, you go through Chattanooga, take 75, go south. You'll pass by it, and literally the stadium's like a mile off the interstate.
Interesting.
Like, you'll see signs for, you can see a lot of the campus off I-75. You ignore a lot of it because it's so busy once you get past, a certain, once you pass the Buc-ee's, there's just a lot of crap on both sides of the road, and it's not far from the ballpark, from Truist Field.
Yep.
So,
okay.
You'll notice it next time
I go.
You're driving by there. Big one, guys, at 2:30. USC at Oregon. Big Ten championship game on the line. Also, a playoff spot on the line. They've got the Ducks, though, 10.5-point favorites in that game.
Listen, Oregon has proved to me this year they're a tough physical team. They've had a couple of moments this year where they've had to kind of, I guess, show up and prove themselves. And other than that Indiana game, they've stepped up to the challenge. USC's been really good this year. I just don't know how they're going to fare going into Autzen. That's such a tough place to play. And USC, really, most of their success has come at home. I'm not sure how they'll fare on the road, but that looks like it's going to be a great game.
I would expect Oregon to win this one, but if USC does, who's Oregon lost to?
Indiana.
I mean, there's 2 lost team that still could be taking up a spot. USC, if USC wins, they're moving in.
Yeah.
Oregon's going to be a 2-loss team that I think is still right there on the fringe, maybe 11 or 12.
Their best wins are Northwestern and Iowa.
So you think they're out if they lose this?
I mean, there's just the
value
Penn State win.
Do we
gets
value
worse
bad
and
wins
worse.
over good losses? Is kind of the discussion when it comes to Oregon.
I mean, they were winning in the second half of that game against Indiana, if I'm correct. I mean, the Iowa win's good, but then Iowa goes on the road. And both games were Iowa-friendly games. Raining, based off the defense, and they couldn't win the game. So
this is almost a must-win for Oregon. They gotta beat 'em.
But you could certainly make that. There's no sexy wins for a lot of teams
True.
in the playoff picture.
And I think this game's surprisingly going to be really physical. USC is another team that surprised me with their physicality this year. They've ran the ball really well as a team. If they can get a good game on the ground from King Miller once again, we could be looking at two 9-2 teams out on the West Coast.
The thing that I hope we don't run into, I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, where, all right, if you look at Oregon's resume, all right, well, what is their good win or good wins? And we just talked about it. Okay, well, they have so-called good losses. Lost to Indiana. I know that was at home, but Indiana undefeated right now, so that holds good weight towards Oregon. The last thing I want is if USC goes and beats Oregon, Oregon being how they have been over the past several years, their name holds weight, and you end up rewarding the brand as opposed to this other team that rewarding the resume. And I mean, it's the same thing would be with Alabama. If Alabama ends up winning out and then you lose in the SEC championship game, I know that the committee, I think, has said that they don't really punish if you lost a championship game, but there's 3 losses there. And my thing would be, okay, stop looking at Alabama as Alabama. What's their resume look like? Stop looking at Georgia as Georgia. What does their resume look like? And I feel like sometimes that still is a little bit of a thing.
Right. We need him in that room with the committee on Tuesday night. Just take away the helmet.
Look at the resume.
The blind resume.
Yeah, look at the blind resume. I could go back and talk about that the last playoff where we had the 4 teams where Bama bumped out Florida State.
Yep.
I mean, that was a tough call. You could make an argument that Alabama deserved that because they went and beat the number 1 team in Georgia.
Well, and you look, Georgia went 12-1, lost the SEC championship game, and went from 1 to 6,
and they got bumped out.
Yeah.
So it's like I get that there's going to be some give and take on that, but just look. The only thing I ask is just look at the resume. And so I don't know what's going to happen if USC beats Oregon. I still feel like Oregon's a good team. Yeah. But then again, you go, look, okay, well, who did you win? Who did you lose to? Yeah. And it is really, really tough when you get into a conversation, especially with basketball and March Madness, where you're having to differentiate between, okay, what are your okay wins versus your good losses? And if you have okay wins versus good losses, usually that doesn't have a lot of weight with it.
And you know what? I think college football needs to adopt something from college basketball, and it's the quadrants, because you can get to March Madness, look at quad 1, quad 2, quad 3 wins.
Yeah. Those and the Ken-Pom.
Yes, that would be huge in college football, because that would value some of these, maybe these non-conference losses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and RPI certainly reward. RPI's got a lot of good stuff involved with it, and the
got the net too,
and how the NCAA uses that for the tournament ratings, and it rewards teams for playing tough schedules and challenging games on the road, even against mid-majors, which is...
because that's the thing. It's because, maybe a game at South Carolina would be a quad 1 win, but at home versus South Carolina, it's a quad 2 game. Stuff like that factored in.
Notre Dame at home against Syracuse, 35.5-point favorites. They were in Vandy, only 8.5-point favorites against Kentucky. Kentucky, just when we thought they were dead in the water, they're picking up some momentum. They're a bold win away.
What is with Kentucky and just showing up in the second half of the season? It just seems it used to be the opposite.
Right. They start like 4-1.
I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. They were like 6-0 and they lost the last 6.
This is a really tricky game for Vandy because they know what they got next week, but this Kentucky team is on fire, offense and defense. Right now.
I would say Cutter Boley is one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the SEC, which is not a line I thought I'd be saying back in August. He has really stepped up the past couple of weeks. Had a bit of a rough game against Tennessee, but goes. It's at home, but still destroys Florida. And this is a Vanderbilt team that is 100% looking ahead to Tennessee.
Yeah,
I get it's Kentucky that is kind of a big rivalry for them, but if anybody watched the Any Given Saturday, the SEC thing on Netflix, Vanderbilt wants to beat Tennessee so bad they can't stand it. Maybe that will get in the way.
The thing that I would think, and this would be a big positive for Vandy and Clark Lee, is if he's able to get them to focus on this Kentucky game and not look forward to that Tennessee game. They go. Is it at Kentucky? Is it in Lexington?
It's at Vanderbilt.
It's in Nashville.
Vandy,
If he gets them prepared and they take care of their business against Kentucky, then that Tennessee Vandy game is going to be really, really interesting.
And it's funny that this is the potential for the first time for those two teams to meet ranked both at the same time. There's been times for Vandy, there's been times for Tennessee, never both.
Yeah.
Arkansas at Texas. Longhorns only 8.5-point favorites in this game. They still have an outside shot, but again, the resume doesn't exactly look look great right now for the Longhorns.
Well, every week for Arkansas, I say, man, if Taylor Green doesn't turn the ball over, they got a chance. And then he throws 3 picks and has a fumble.
Yeah.
And Texas, they haven't forced as many turnovers as they did last year, but that defense is still really tough. Arkansas will put up points, but they're going to miss out on possessions.
Put me down for an Arkansas win.
I hope so.
Put me down for it. They have. I hear you. It obviously does depend on which Arkansas team shows up and if they can get it done. I think they get it done. I think they'll finally get that win that has been elusive over these past handful of weeks against really good teams. I mean, they had was it A&M that they had to like a 2-point conversion away or something like that?
45-42.
Yeah. So I mean, they challenged these really good teams, and I think this is obviously Texas is on the outside looking in towards the playoff, but I think that they're kind of, how do I put it? Not mediocre. They're playing better, but I feel like the fact that they have that third loss now, maybe there's a little bit less of like hey, we've got a chance. Yeah. And then Arkansas, if you turn a blind eye to them, they can win that game, and I think they get it done. I think they'll get a win for once.
Tulane is at Temple. Tulane is the top group of 5 teams right now, ranked at 24, so they're kind of in the driver's seat there. 3 o'clock, Kansas State at Utah. Utah 17.5-point favorites. They're kind of turning it on here in the second half of the year. You got Michigan at Maryland. Wolverines 13.5-point favorites. Without their starting running back in this game, they might be looking ahead to Ohio State. This is that tricky. Someone's got to go to Maryland the week before one of the biggest games of the season. Maryland always gets this game against somebody. Most of the time it's Ohio State or Michigan. A couple times it's been Penn State. Houston back in the top 25, hosting TCU. They're in that slate. And Georgia Tech, still alive, guys. They're 16th, 9-1. Pitt's coming to them. Yellow Jackets just 2.5-point favorites in this game.
Yeah, I have just been amazed at the amount of disrespect Georgia Tech's gotten, because everybody's talking about, how do you have BYU so low? Georgia Tech's lost one game too, folks, and they're all the way down at 16. I think they need a big win over a quality team like Pitt to really launch them up in the ratings.
Yeah, they got to win this one to stay alive in the playoff conversation. Yeah. They can't lose to Pitt. Not that Pitt's is some slouch, but Georgia Tech already has a loss.
Yeah. And if they lose next week at Georgia.
They got Georgia next week, too. So.
Yeah, and this is not the way Pitt's offense can be.
Yeah.
And this will help Hayes King in the Heisman Trophy conversation.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of points in that one because neither one of those defenses.
You beat this game, win this game, and then you get Georgia at home next week. Not only does that bump your resume, that bumps your quarterback's resume for a Heisman.
I would say 2 good games and 2 wins in those. Yeah, we could be looking at Haynes King going to New York.
Next week's game gets really spicy if they just handle business and beat Pitt.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That's going to be, good old-fashioned hate, guys. Illinois at Wisconsin. Another one in the Big 12. BYU at Cincinnati. Cincinnati can make some things really difficult for the Big 12 if they knock off BYU at Nippert Stadium. Cougars, though, just 2.5-point favorites in this.
Hey, listen, Cincinnati has already had their season ruined last week against Arizona. You can maybe even go a couple weeks ago at Utah. What would feel even better than ruining somebody else's party after yours is already over? You got them at home. You got them. I think it's an afternoon. No, it's a night game.
Night game. Yeah.
That's going to be a crazy environment.
Yeah.
Where do we say it was?
At Cincinnati.
Nippert Stadium. Sneaky one here, which I hope this happens. It'd be a lot of fun. Western Kentucky 8-2 is at LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Auburn and LSU draw the short straws on the. I like to call it the SEC free win week.
Mm-hmm. Even South Carolina's bringing in Coastal Carolina. There's some tough matchups in these.
Yeah, but Auburn and LSU both are a little worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
South Carolina got embarrassed last week, but they still have their coach. They still have their quarterback. Auburn and LSU. Who knows? I mean, they've already fired their coach, and who knows if Garrett Nussmeier feels okay.
Yeah, you forget both those teams have fired. Auburn and LSU have fired their coach, benched their quarterbacks. They're starting anew.
Hang on a second. Did you say South Carolina is playing Coastal Carolina?
It can get weird.
They're the Chanticleers, right?
Yep.
Isn't that like it's the same thing as it's a cockfight?
It really is, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. It's not October anymore, so we really can't keep it going.
All right, this one's going off the rails here in a heartbeat. Well, coming up next, guys, we'll head to the world of the NFL to preview week number 12.
Welcome to Mid-South Barn Dominiums. We realize there's a lot of options when it comes to finding a builder for your next home. Here at Mid-South, we understand that customer service, quality, and selections are very important. It's a very large time, money, and an emotional investment, and we're here to listen and care. We realize the kitchen's the most used and abused room in the house. Our cabinets are locally custom made from Sanderson Cabinets out of Lawrenceburg. They're real wood, poplar or maple, whether you paint or stain. All comes with slow close hardware and many pull-out different style options to choose from.
Gifts and goodies galore await you at Miss Millie's in downtown Lawrenceburg. From brands you know and love, like E. Newton Jewelry and Tyler Diva Wash, to unique specialty gifts, you will find it all here. Whether you're looking for the perfect gift for someone you love or shopping for yourself, shopping local is the way to go. We have home goods, women's fashion and accessories, baby items, and lots of seasonal decorations. Our friendly staff will welcome you in, help you find what you need, and even package your gifts for you. Also, we can't forget to tell you about our popular bridal registry. Future brides can come and create their perfect registry with us. So stop by Miss Millie's today. We're located in the northeast corner of the square in downtown Lawrenceburg.
State Line Garage Doors, owned and operated by Justin Gobble, is your trusted local expert in garage door services. Based in Lawrence County, Tennessee, State Line Garage Doors is built on over a decade of hands-on experience, providing reliable repairs, replacements, and installations for all types of garage doors, residential and commercial. They proudly serve our community and the surrounding areas. When you work with State Line Garage Doors, you're not just another job, you're part of our community. Their commitment to quality, transparency, and craftsmanship is at the heart of what they do, and they offer free estimates. State Line Garage Doors. Reach out to discover the difference a company with local roots can make for your home and business.
Pat's Cafe and Catering has been proudly serving customers in Lawrenceburg since 1987. For 4 generations, our family-run cafe has served up delicious breakfast and lunch favorites, with friendly service and a welcoming atmosphere. We also offer full-service catering and can help to make your next party or event a success. For great food and friendly faces, visit us today at Pat's Cafe and Catering.
Working with Gina was great because she really knows this area. I gave her the specifications of what I was looking for, and she took me right to my forever home.
I met Gina when she sold my son's home within 5 days after it hit the market. With my home, from the day the sign hit the yard to the day we signed the papers, Gina was there every step of the way. Her involvement in the sale of my home was the best decision that I made.
We never felt like Gina was pushing us to make a deal with a buyer. She knew what we wanted, and she worked diligently to get us the best offer for our properties.
Working hard for my clients to make their dreams come true. Let me work for you.
The storm doesn't ask. It takes. It tests. It pushes everything to its limit. Some things are built different. Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements, proven by time, engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. Building dreams that last.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to X Sports Today. AJ Good, Taylor Plott, Bryant, Gobble, and Michael Marks. Guys, time to get into our NFL slate for this week. Starting tonight, decent one, Buffalo at Houston. Is CJ Stroud back for Houston yet or not? The Bills are 5.5-point favorites in this game.
Yeah, it says that Stroud's still out.
I'm pretty sure he's out. He got his, as one of my friends put it, he got his eggs scrambled pretty bad with that hit to the head that he had. So.
And it's already been announced that Joe Mixon is out for the remainder of the season.
But Buffalo on the road. And not a bad defense in Houston. You never,
Buffalo's struggling on the road.
You never know.
I mean, Davis Mills has been throwing it around. Yeah. Like he's been okay, but you have to be more than okay to beat Buffalo. Right. So.
Well, the thing for Buffalo, they're going to need a receiver to step up on the road. That's where they've really been hurting on the road is they can't get that pass game going, and then that locks everybody in on James Cook and Josh Allen in the box. Khalil Shakir needs to have a huge game tonight.
Shakir or Gabe Davis, one of those two.
Who's the guy?
Shakir's on my fantasy team.
Keon Coleman. What's going on with him? Do we know?
They it's like they've given up on him because that was a guy they were very high on in the offseason, and then I don't know if it was something that happened in the preseason or early in the season. They have just completely given up on the guy.
But, like, he's not playing. Like, he's not even so is it, like, disciplinary? Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
I don't know. The first game on the noon slate of games, guys, Pittsburgh at the Bears. It's the most expensive game to get into this week, $338. I would like to call it the Faker Bowl. We're going to find out who is
who's fakest.
Because both of them have good wins. Actually, Chicago doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, all of their wins are against very weak opponents who they barely beat. Pittsburgh's got some decent wins, but it's, again, we've said it a lot about a lot of NFL teams. You don't know what team is going to show up, but both these teams, this is going to be a good win on their resume. They got to kind of prove that they're worth something. This is a good opportunity to do it.
If Aaron Rodgers plays.
And that's the thing.
Have you seen the availability report? Is he there?
He's still listed at questionable, so we could maybe see him, but it's going to be Aaron Rodgers versus the Bears. I think he's going to try to suit up for that one if he can.
That's true.
I would say obviously has a good history with them from his time with the Packers. Yeah. But listen, this Bears offense has been really good this year. They've been getting up and down the field. They've had some rough weeks, but listen, when that offense gets going, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, those guys get going, Chicago's a tough team to stop.
Yeah. Let me ask this. All right, what is Pittsburgh's remaining schedule after the Bears?
After the Bears,
Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens. So it's
So you got to play the Ravens twice.
And the Lions.
I'm not playing. If the Dodgers are saying anything iffy with Aaron Rodgers, I would not be playing him this game because you're going to need him to make that playoff run to at least get that chance. Yeah. I would almost view this game as expendable. I know you want to win, obviously, but what's better in the long run? Playing this game to where Aaron Rodgers might get injure that wrist even more or hand or whatever he's dealing with, and now you got him out for the rest of the season.
The Dolphins and the Ravens are still on the hunt. The Ravens are on the Steelers' tail for the division. You got to play them twice. You got to go to Detroit. You got to host Buffalo.
Yeah,
and your easiest game is at Cleveland after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
On my daughter's birthday. How about that?
I wouldn't play them. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. We got New England at Cincinnati, only 6.5-point favorites there. Detroit hosting the Giants. That is our second largest point spread at 10 points. Minnesota at Green Bay. Green Bay, we don't know.
Yeah.
Their defense is going to be good, but can Love complete passes consistently? Can their offensive line move the ball? Can they run the ball? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know their defense can play. I don't know what their offense can do.
Say this Packers team continues to be the most confusing team in football because you're going to get the team that lost to the Browns at home, or you're going to get the team that maybe went and got a win against the Detroit or the Eagles, teams like that.
I think the Vikings are also puzzling. Like, I guess they're still trying to figure it out with J.J. McCarthy. And, is he a guy? How do you best use your team around 10? I don't think he's one to just go and win you a game from the pocket because he hasn't shown he's a great passer, and he wasn't that at Michigan. Like, he was a guy that handed the ball off and facilitated the offense. So how can Kevin O'Connell get him to best facilitate the Vikings offense to where they're efficient, they're scoring points, they're getting their best players the ball, because they haven't really been getting Justin Jefferson the ball at all. Like, he's been a little frustrated. So I'm I'm doubtful of the Vikings' ability to score points, especially against the Packers' defense.
Yeah. Tennessee, speaking of our largest point spread, 13-point dogs against Seattle at home. Hey, you can get him for $20. Not as cheap as last week. Last week was actually a pretty decent game, all things considered. But Seattle coming into there, they're probably wanting a good bounce back. And hey, what a better bounce back than going to lifeless Tennessee.
Yeah, I think it's a good way for like you said, Seattle to get back on track. And again, they are 4-1 on the road this season. They've been extremely well on the road. And the Titans
about to be 5.
Yeah, but saying the Titans haven't won a game at home this season, and I don't see that changing against the Seahawks.
Yeah, bounce back game for Sam Darnold after throwing 4 picks. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba should run wild.
Yeah, Kansas City and Indy, guys. That's also, wow, the noon slate's kind of loaded. That's going to be a good one. Kansas City needs it desperately. Indianapolis, not so much. They've almost got that division on lock right now. But I think they need that for, hey, we can prove we can win a game on the road because all their struggles have been on the road this year.
Yeah, because right now the Chiefs third in the division. They're still a game and a half back from the Chargers. It's getting the nut cutting time, and if you're not ready, I mean, you're getting prepared to be left out of the playoffs after making, 4 straight Super Bowls, 3 straight Super Bowls? I mean, it's going to be a tough end of the season for the Chiefs for sure.
The Colts, though, coming off a bye week is what makes this interesting for me. Like, they're going to be well rested, and the Chiefs have kind of played some tough games over the past few weeks. So
and they're getting everyone's best shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
They always will.
Yeah, they always will with Mahomes and Reed and Kelsey and T. Swift and all that stuff. I'm glad that's calming down a
bit.
Yep. Jets of Baltimore, that is the largest spread. Wow, we've got 3 double-digit spreads. It's the first time all year we've had 3 double-digit spreads. Baltimore's on fire. They're getting a struggling team, and this is going to put them over the hump right here. Oh, my gosh. Who wants to go see the Browns in Vegas? It's $103 to get in. Vegas 4-point favorites there.
There's some fun stuff
first
in
to 15
Stadium.
wins. First to 15 wins.
Man.
15 might be generous. And the defense might score 15 points for both of those teams.
And the thing is
Gino.
This Browns team is terrible on the road. This Raiders team is terrible at home.
They're just terrible.
Somebody's got to. Well, good thing it's the NFL. They can tie.
They can tie.
They can tie.
I think the prop bet that you would look for is the sacks. Like, what's the sack number? Because I think it's going to be whatever it is going to be over with.
It's
2
Max
star
Crosby
defensive ends
and Miles Garrett
getting after quarterbacks that are not doing.
Don't
it
throw
well.
it out there. We don't want any more controversies in any of these leagues about prop bets.
Listen, we're getting to a point where Miles Garrett's getting there on the all-time sack or the single season sack list. It's still 22.5. He's at 15 right now.
It's just something about like him and Joe Thomas, Hall of Fame level players that never play on good teams.
They got stuck on the Browns.
Even though, hey, at least they had a playoff run.
Yes.
It was during COVID, but they had a playoff run and a decent quarterback. Jacksonville at Arizona, that is still our cheapest game to get into this week, $16. Jacksonville got a big win last week. They're putting up points. They're giving up a lot of points here too, but Jacksonville hasn't necessarily been known as a good road team as well, so that's a tricky one there for the Jags. Philly at Dallas. Eagles 3.5-point favorites there at the 325 slot.
These are 2 teams that, we talked about it with the Iron Bowl with Tennessee, Florida, that you can throw out the records anytime these 2 teams play. It's always going to be a good game. It's always going to be physical. I'm curious to how much the Eagles can slow down the Cowboys, because we've talked about it week after week how much the Eagles slow down the games and make them boring to watch. But the Cowboys, I mean, they're up and down all night. Over-under set at 47.5. I'm really not sure.
I worry about the Cowboys against the Eagles defense because I think the Eagles are pretty nasty.
Yeah.
They're pretty salty.
And they're getting better and better week in and week out. I mean, if you score 20 on these guys, that's your chances of winning a game are really, really high, which is, I think that's what Denver did. They scored over 20. Let's just look at their 2 losses. Denver scored 21 and the Giants scored 34. Everyone else, 2017. Okay, the Rams scored 26 and lost. The Buccaneers scored 25 and lost. Okay.
So the Eagles, 28 points will win you every game, pretty much.
Yeah, but the last 2 games, 10-7, 16-9 against the Packers and the Lions, 2 really good teams. So,
and do they switch it up playing a team that's not as hot right now as the Packers or the Lions? Those are 2 teams that we expect to see in the playoffs. Cowboys not as much.
I think Sirianni is just something about going into Dallas and the hatred the Eagles and their fan base has for Dallas. I think this doesn't bode well for the Cowboys. Falcons at the Saints. Saints 2.5 point favorites.
That's a football
in this game.
It's Kirk Cousins time.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited to see, as I think Dan Patrick calls him, Kirk D. Cousins. I'm excited to see him
Big Kirk
on
go.
the field, slinging that thing around. I'm sorry if you own Drake London on your fantasy team because
I
he did
do
not throw it to him.
Nope.
So T's and P's for your loss in fantasy football this coming week. But I'm excited. I love Kirk. I want him to do well. I want him to do so well. I'm excited for Kirk.
Night game. Buccaneers kind of falling apart here lately, guys. They're at the Rams. Rams actually 7-point favorites in this one.
I think right now the Rams are up there with the Patriots as the hottest team, the best team in football. The Buccaneers, again, lost 3 of their last 4. Their defense has been giving up a lot of points. Their offense hasn't been able to put up a whole lot. Now, that's because they've all been hurt. They should be getting Bucky Irving back this Sunday, so that will help.
He's coming back. That'll be great for my fantasy team.
I would say Abuka is getting there. When they get these guys back and everybody's healthy, and I know Baker's questionable to play, once they get everybody back, I think they're like the 49ers. You're going to see them start taking some steps up once they actually get the guys they wanted to be out there back.
Is this in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of the 49ers, that's our Monday night game as they got Carolina. Right now, Carolina has played themselves into a battle with Tampa Bay for that top spot in the NFC South. And 49ers got Brock Purdy and Kittle. Getting a lot of guys back. They're getting healthy, really healthy, especially offensively. They might... They always seem to play well on Monday night against kind of the weaker competition. So 49ers 2.5 point favorites here. They win this. They're sitting there at 8-4.
And their schedule down the stretch, we looked at it a couple of days ago, wasn't too brutal.
Yeah. They got, after this, you got the Browns, a week off, and then the Titans. And then you finish with
2 weeks off.
Then you finish with Colts, Bears, Seahawks. And they've already beaten the Seahawks.
They've already gotten. That's only one more divisional game. Then they've already gotten all of their other divisional games out of the way.
4-1 because they swept Arizona, split with the Rams, and the Seahawks are at home in the last week of the regular season.
That's pretty good in that division. With that record.
And again, I think they're like the latest, or them and one other team are the latest to get their bye week.
Yes.
I mean, for as injured as they've been, and you get your bye week early December, and you're sitting, you could be going into that bye week at 9-4.
Yeah, and how
pretty good.
How great would that be? And the Panthers, man, this year has been a roller coaster for them. The start was so bad, it got a podcast canceled. Then they played so well, it got brought back. I mean, it's crazy to see that with a team that's their record's 500, but they feel a lot better than they just the way they've been playing as of late.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I will wrap it up here for Exports today. We're only going to be doing Exports live next week because of the holidays. I know you're busy Monday and Tuesday. You're going.
I'll be with UNA Band in New York.
We'll
watch them.
That's right.
Macy's Day Parade. Yeah, it's going to be a good trip.
Yeah, don't poke any holes in
any
balloons
no sharp
out there,
objects.
please. We don't want to hear about some shenanigans and you getting a Southern Middle Tennessee man has been arrested on charges of deflating Bluey on Broadway. So, but don't want anything, Sam. We can't control. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, Sam can't come
if you
with
do
us.
it, please blame it on Sam.
Okay.
We have a Sam mask somewhere. We can put it on him if you want to do some New York shenanigans. That might take a big problem off our hands. That's not a bad idea. So for Taylor, Bryant, Michael, I'm AJ. Have a great week, a great day, great weekend, a great holiday, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.